Hi, this is Tim Fargo, and this is episode number 7 of the Social Media Success Series. And today we're going to talk about thanking people and a bit about interaction. Some of this is obviously geared toward automation and what Social Jukebox does, but um, another part of this is more general in nature. And I think it's super important to recognize the people who do interact with you. Um, Both in maybe like a collective context. If you can think of ways to sort of thank them for retweets or sharing your content on Facebook, whatever it may be. And the reason I say that, the temptation, and I would say this is true in particular people that are using automation tools like Social Jukebox, is to sort of go onto autopilot and let things just happen. And that is, of course, one way of doing it. I would not recommend doing it that way. I think the whole point, the slogan, our slogan of Social Jukebox is less work, more social, because the idea is that you can let the tool do the posting so you can spend your time doing a little bit more interacting. Um, the human element of social media is what really brings it to life, and that's what's really going to get you followers that matter. Um, Posting things that are cool and all that. It'll get you a following, and I'm not saying that following doesn't have any value at all, but to have a true tribe, so to speak, or a true group of real fans, you've got to be willing to step out and respond to people. And you see that in a lot of the more popular people. And they may be like even celebrities. Some of them don't respond at all, but some of them do. And I think whether it's someone like Ricky Gervais, and whether you like him or not, he does respond to people. Stephen Fry, another British celebrity, it responds to people. There's people on social media. There's athletes that respond to people on social media, and that makes such a huge difference because it really humanizes what you're doing, and it puts an actual human touch in there. And people talk about all this authenticity, and people try to calibrate it. Just be yourself and just be nice to people, and respond to them. And if they make a comment that genuinely seems like they want to say something of value, then respond to them. I think that's the way you're gonna, like I say, you're gonna really grow a following that matters. Okay, so with that in mind, going through your mentions on Twitter, going through your Facebook feed, and seeing, liking people's comments, saying thank you when people share stuff, like I said, all this is really, really important. So, on a more specific note to the tool, one of the things that Social Jukebox will do is it will thank people who have interacted or retweeted you. And for anybody who thinks that I put this in to the tool lightly, um, this was a core function. I used to do this using I used to download my interactions using a different like a Twitter data tool. And then I used to take the spreadsheets, I used to consolidate the duplicates out of the spreadsheets, and then I used to extract all the unique usernames from the resulting spreadsheet, and then I would take those and copy and paste those in to thank you tweets on my own. Okay, so if you don't think I find value in it, that's the extent that I used to go to. And of course, when the software was built and I realized there was a way to automate it, I did that because it was extremely time consuming. But it was really beneficial because it gave me a way to reach back out to people. And I think anybody who's using the tool, you really owe it to yourself to give the thank you tweets a shot. Now, the to reach them, they're in the upper right hand corner, and so you just click on those, and here you have the power to send them out. And actually, it's even more than every Friday if you're a paid subscriber at pro level and above. So, um, and one of the nice things too is you can customize your message here. Send thank yous, yes. How many users, and you can specify up to 500, which is a lot. I tend to go with like the top 50 or top 100. Um, just not so much that I don't want to thank people, but more because I don't want to bombard my feed with thank you messages. In any event, so, and then you can pick what days in case you don't want them to go every day, and then you can pick an interval of how often they'll go. So there's, presumably if you're tweeting like I do, I tweet every few minutes. So there'll be like 4 or 5 posts in between the thank yous. And going back up here, I construct um, a message, and gratitudes has become kind of like my little signature personally. And I just think it's funny on Twitter. So, and happy puppy is I have a gift down here, as you can probably see, of a happy puppy. But now I'm going to change this to weekend gratitudes. And I'm going to dump this photo, and now I'm going to pick up one that I loaded from the site called Giphy. And I highly recommend you check it out. So you got Leonardo DiCaprio here toasting. So that seems appropriate for a weekend thank you tweets. And just takes a second for this to load digitally. So there you have. Now I've created a weekend gratitudes. So tomorrow, when the tweets are ready to go out, it'll send out weekend gratitudes using that. Again, super simple way to get people to remember you. I mentioned this yesterday in episode 6. People channel surf the daylights out of social media, reaching out to people and reminding them that they were at your feed or they were at your page in Facebook, or reviewing something of yours on LinkedIn. Really, really important to spend the time reaching back out and interacting. You'll find so much more value in social media when you take the time to interact and things like that. So please go in, if you're using the tool, give this a shot, try it out. I say this often, but I'll keep saying it because it bears repeating. There will be people who probably won't like it. Okay, don't let that put you off your game. There's a lot of people who do like it. One complaint does not mean it's a failure. That just means that one person didn't like it, and that's why we have this exclusion tool here. You can put if it's on, for thank you tweets, you can put their username in here, and you won't thank them anymore. So I highly encourage you to give it a try. For tomorrow, the thing we're going to do is we're going to make a distinction between, I'm an advocate obviously for resharing content because that's the whole notion behind automating social media. But there's different levels of automation and different levels of repetition. And more like, let's say, for instance, that you are a blogger. When you have a new post, you might want to share that more frequently because you just came out with it. You might want to see it get some traction and get some shares because it's your latest work and it's kind of your latest and greatest, right? So, you might use like different tools and a different rhythm to do that. So think about the content you'd like to share if you're using a tool like Social Jukebox. And then we'll talk about, how to set that up and how to make those distinctions and how to make segues, like when you want to go from maybe sharing something a little bit more aggressively and then when you back off and how much to back off and things like that. So that's going to be tomorrow for episode 8. In the meantime, if you have any questions, you can always reach me at Tim at my email address is tim@socialjukebox.com. As always, have an awesome day. Thank you.